Eagles Nation. A lot of things we could say. There's a lot of things I could talk about right now. But there's one thing that's very important. We beat Dallas. And not only did we beat them, we spanked their hind parts. Their hindquarters were handled pretty well by us. No diddy. So, simply say this. Uh, Pittsburgh Steelers, our Pennsylvania brothers. We good with y'all right now. We appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to y'all too, because y'all helped us put ourselves in a position to be in first place going into the game with the Commanders. Now, we go in this game on Thursday that we'll talk about later. We don't do what we're supposed to do. It ain't gonna matter. But if we do what we're supposed to do, you already know what it is. Some great performances for the week. Guys did really well. A couple of guys we can be like, man, y'all was weak links. But overall, we played well. We got the dub. We did what we were supposed to do as Philadelphia Eagles. Now it's on to the next week. Of course, we're going to talk about last week, news, notes, all that, and on to the next week. But what I want y'all to remember is nobody likes us, and we don't care. And now that we winning games, and now that we done got ourselves back into the division, now you're starting to see all the hate. Not that it wasn't there before, but you're starting to see even more. And I bask in the hate. I love the hate. Bring as much as you can. Talk about my QB. Talk about my offense. If you talk about the coach, I ain't gonna argue with you though. But I'm gonna even talk about some thoughts from some things I done heard about that I think is a little bogus, but they're trying to reach. But we get things going. Let's get my man Wyatt in the building. Wyatt, what's going on?
What's going on, everybody? Eagles first place in the NFC East, right? Exactly where we should be. Hopefully hold that up, come Thursday. But we have a lot to talk about tonight. I'm excited to get into it.
Heck yeah. And y'all know Diva in the building.
What it do, y'all? We got that dub. Oh, yeah. I'm on top because we got that dub. We blew them out, and we handle business.
Business. I love it. I'm for it. And I want y'all to understand something. We're not playing. Like, I'm feeling good about where we sit. Yeah, we didn't play our best game, but I'm feeling good where we sit because we made it work when we were supposed to. And that's all I can ask. So, that being said, we're going to start it off. I'm trying to get back to not getting too hyped when we win or too upset when we lose and keeping things in order because you're supposed to do that. So let's get a little bit more hype right now.
The kick is away, and the kick it's good! And the Eagles win!
It's hard to come to South Philadelphia and leave here with the win. You just don't come to Philadelphia and leave here with the win.
Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you. Let the celebration begin.
All right, y'all. So, hey, we're going to get into it. And y'all know where we start. Same place every week. Ain't nothing changed. What you got for us?
Yeah, I mean, first up, one of our players from the Super Bowl team, Vinny Curry, is going to be officially retiring a Philadelphia Eagle Thursday night. So I'm sure they'll have some sort of ceremony and everything, similar to like LaShawn McCoy. Even though he was inducted in the Eagles Hall of Fame, Vinny Curry's just retiring Eagle, but it's going to be nice to, kind of celebrate with him in the building, especially in a big game like this against division rival.
Oh, yeah. Vinny Curry, if I remember, he was on that championship team, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Anytime it's somebody from the championship team that's coming through and retiring as an Eagle or being in the Hall of Fame or whatever, I'm always for it.
Same.
The big Vin.
Yeah, but I mean, as far as like roster stuff, we ended up waiving tight end Jack Stoll. We needed to make a roster move for the next one that we have here, which is Jordan Mailata, familiar face. He is coming off the IR, and he was a full participant in practice all week. He's looking like he's going to be playing here. It looks like we're going to have everybody healthy on the 53-man roster going into this Thursday night game, which is exactly what we need.
Definitely. Indubitably.
And the last thing I had was just old Zach Bond once again doing it. He ended up winning Defensive Player of the Week in the NFC this week. You know, he actually showed up and showed out and getting his recognition this time for it. I mean, he's been balling all season so far. It's finally getting some recognition.
Very true, man. Very true. Zach Bond. Y'all been hearing his name my mama every week. Whenever plays is made, he's been there since week 1.
Mm-hmm.
Even when everybody else is playing bad.
Pay that man. He's set to be a free agent coming up. Pay that man.
He shouldn't even hit free agency. Pay that man now.
Yeah. Should be done, signed by the end of the season.
Yep. He says, "What's up, y'all? My bad, I'm cooking." Boo.
Right. Hype like he was gonna be here with week 3 weeks in a row.
He says, "How we pay the man."
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's all I have as far as news goes.
Oh yeah, it's cool because we got plenty of stuff to talk about. So it's all good. So let's do it in this order because this way we can get the negative out of the way. So I believe this was week 10, right? That just passed. If I'm correct in my mind, week 10.
Mm-hmm.
Weakest Linc. Diva, what you got?
My man Fred Johnson. He was having a little trouble this week. Wasn't picking up his blocks like he was supposed to. Normally he'd be clutch, but this week, I don't know, maybe he was a little tired. I don't know what was going on, but Fred was not in the game like he should have been. So Fred is my weakest link.
That is fair. Wyatt, who you got for your weakest link?
Mine is the architect that designed and helped build AT&T Stadium for putting those damn windows how they are, shining that bright ass light across the field. Who designed this stadium and who approved this?
Jerry
why
Jones
isn't there
approved it.
curtains or something put up in here? What are you doing?
That's who approved this. Gerald Jones.
Yeah. He did it on purpose, thinking he was going to hate do something to the opposing team and end up hurting his own team. Stupid.
But what's dumb about it, right, is you do understand that both teams play on both sides of the field.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Did you not remember that, Jerome?
This fool talking about some tear the whole damn stadium down. Yeah, do that. Exactly what you need to do.
We know where the sun is. We know where the moon is. Like, no, you don't, obviously.
All right. For my weakest link, I'm gonna go with Darius No Play Slay, limping off again. If you're not ready to play, bro, just don't even just sit. Like,
didn't last.
When I say
drive.
Weakest Link, I literally mean weakest link. Like, you can't get healthy. You are weak in your body, sir. You're right.
Sit this one
You're
out,
right.
big dog.
You're right, bro.
Isaiah Rodgers.
Right. You're better off, and you're more for the team when you're right. When you're not right, you're not right. That's what it is. Damien, what's up, Damien?
What's going on, Damien?
Damien says Jerry wanted to build a stadium bigger than his forehead. Hey, this is about the only way to do it. That's a good point, Damien. He did it. He achieved it. He accomplished that goal.
He did.
It wasn't easy for him, but he accomplished it. But when you put your mind to it, it makes some things happen. So yeah, big play. We need you to get where you can actually help the team, sir. We will greatly appreciate you being there to help the team more than we would you just being there to be there.
No, bro, you can sit right on beside Ballberry.
You sit over there and help the young boys develop till you can get yourself together. Because we don't need you playing 5 plays and hobbling off the field every game.
Man, that
I'm exaggerating. It was more than that, but you get.
No, that dude played 2 plays. Second play, he was hurt. Okay, we go keep it 100.
He limped around about 4 or 5 more plays though.
Mm-hmm. No, he came back. He went off, but he came back. It was 2 plays though. I counted. It was 2 plays. And he was out. 2 plays and he was hobbling off the field. I said, dang, we just started the game, man.
Diva.
I'm just saying, man. No play Slay.
Elite performance of the game. I go first. My elite performance of the game, I'm going to go on the defensive side of the ball. I'm going to go with my man, Quinyon Mitchell. Quinyon, they don't want none of Quinyon. They don't want it. And the crazy thing about it is, this could be a cumulative award for this man. Name a week he's had a bad week. Name one. Rookie, first round pick, impact from day one. Supposed to be in the slot. Isaiah Rodgers gets hurt. He gets moved to the outside. And Isaiah Rodgers can't take the spot back. And not that Isaiah Rodgers ain't good, because he's playing good too. But he can't take their spot back from Quinyon, because you can't take a young man out when he out there playing like that. And Vic got sense enough not to do that. Somebody would have took him out. But I'm not going there yet. Why? Who you got?
I'll go with Cooper DeJean. It's similar to, Mitchell, like you were just saying. I feel like you can't really find a bad game that he's had so far. It seems like he's making an impact on the defensive side. He seems like he's everywhere, making big tackles, and also in the return one. He almost took one back this game. And it just seems like, just like Quinyon, it seems like each game he's just getting better and better. And it's something to look forward to going forward, not just throughout this season, but like for the future of this defense.
Right. Diva?
I'm going to go with my boy CJ GJ. He finally started to get back to the CJ GJ we had in 2022. He was all over that field. He made a big hit. And he got an interception. So I'm going to go with CJ GJ.
Good pick. I'd say my honorable mention is Bryce Huff, because we haven't had to talk about him much at all this season. He ended up coming out here with a strip sack.
Listen, Bryce Huff had the highest grade of 92.6. The top.
I couldn't believe it. I was Bryce Huff? Are you sure about that? You check them numbers again?
Right.
Yeah.
So Keith says Caucasian cornerback.
He's stupid. You talk about Cooper DeJean.
Caucasian. Yeah, Cooper.
Key got her name.
Gotta show the rookie some love, Wilson.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Johnny Wilson.
Yeah, end up getting that touchdown.
Yeah. He did get the touchdown. And he's our 3rd round pick. So our first 3 picks had some major contributions this week. So it's nice to see Wilson contribute. But I'm gonna need you to do it more, sir. Would you use that big body more? We need you around these parts, especially with my man Smitty just not having the body to stay healthy for a season. We need you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just glad that Jalen is starting to open up to other targets and not his main favorite targets. Like he's moving the ball around for real.
Dotson got a couple big throws in these past couple games now.
Yes, sir.
Hopefully, he can do something against Washington.
Oh, you better target him all game.
Shout out to Lil G Griffith. Says I'm a big fan of Eagles 2024 season better. Eagles beat Commanders. Eagles 31, Commanders 14. I did Special Olympics 18 years. Okay. Bet.
Okay.
I love beating the Eagles. I love having the Eagles beating the Commanders.
Yeah.
And thanks for tuning in. For sure. But yeah, Eagles beat Commanders. Always for it. Always with it. All right, y'all. We're going to hit the first commercial break. Come back. And we're going to review said Commanders game. Let's go. Cowboys game. All these C's. But hopefully all the C's is catching L's from the E's. How about that?
Yep.
Oh.
Got a little freeze here for a moment, y'all. We get there. There we go. Let's go.
Oh, yes. The tradition, the pageantry, the spectacle, the history, the slut. Wait. I gotta rep my brother's stuff right. All my DMV soldiers, stand up! And welcome to the Commander's Gridiron Report. You want your Commanders to be repped right? Well, D. Willie is your man. Commander's Gridiron Report. Every Tuesday, at 11:05 a.m. Eastern, 10:05 a.m. Central on the Sotoba Media YouTube channel. Music by J. Cool. Drew Willingham.
In this case, yeah, you put the blame on Kyle Shanahan for apparently not preparing the team enough for the overtime rules, supposedly.
Cole Johnson.
Peyton was considered the winner, and he was the darling of all darlings for Gerald.
With a special appearance by Tyrone Alizé McDummy.
Ain't nobody calling me. Text delete, 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 delete.
Join these two football enthusiasts as they give you Total Football Talk. Live every Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central on the Sotoba Media and the Comey Media YouTube channels. Whether it's news, the largest egg producer finds bird flu in chickens at a Texas plant, weather, devastating tornadoes rip through the heart of the United States, inspiration, a breast cancer survivor completed the journey of chemotherapy and now begins a future one of matrimony or sports. Michael Jordan is shown on a photo with Diddy. LeBron James has a video extolling the virtues of a Diddy party. This has been yet another Beating a Dead Horse presentation. We got you covered. BS3 Network proudly presents The Morning Shift with Cole Johnson. Live every weekday morning beginning April 29th at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central.
All right, short breaks today, y'all. We have a couple more of them because we got a lot of things to talk about. So, shout out 502 Angel Radio. And first thing we're going to talk about, of course, is that lovely game. It wasn't completely clean. Some things happened that we'll discuss, but that nice game we had against I like to call them the Arlington football team. Dallas Cowboys.
The Cowbuns.
Whatever you want to call them, but you can call us their daddy this week.
Yeah. They Cowbuns.
So, Diva, let's start with you. Your thoughts on the game.
I mean, it went the way that I expected to go. I mean, it wasn't a clean game, but it was clean enough. Jalen Hurts did have an interception, but I do blame Dallas Goedert for that. I felt like Dallas Goedert should have really fought for that. You let Stephon Diggs come in and basically take the ball out of your hand. It was wild to me. Jalen Alexander Hurts. You got to hold on to the ball, bruh. You had your Nick Foles moments where you was just holding on the ball too long, rolling backwards in the pocket. Like that's when you get sacked, when you roll backwards, bruh. You roll forwards, not backwards in the pocket, man. You got to step forward, not backwards. So that was a few little things that I was, noticing with Jalen. And then he started kind of getting it together, understanding, okay, well, I can't hold this ball. Let me go ahead and tuck it and run or throw it, get it out. 1, 2, 3, as I always say, 1, 2, 3, throw, 1, 2, 3, tuck it and run. It's one of the two. You can't sit there. You're not Tom Brady to sit in the pocket for like 45 years waiting for somebody to get open. Bro, that's not you. Okay. So you're a dual threat. So you need to use that and make better decisions. But overall, I mean, he had a good game. The ball was spread wide. Jahan Dotson got some touches. AJ got some big touches. Smitty got some touches. Wilson got a touchdown. So, Dallas Goedert had a touchdown, but got taken away, but didn't turn around, got another touchdown. So he made up for that. So the ball was spread. Of course, Saquon did his thing. I mean, he closed like over 1,000 yards by now. So Kenny Gainwell, he did a little something. But overall, the offense did real well. Besides, Fred not picking up his blocks, like he was just struggling with his blocks, especially with Michael Parsons. But other than that, the offense played well. Defense, man, defense is finally starting to be the defense that we knew that they could be under Vic Fangio. I am loving how they are starting to gel together. You could tell, people are just all over the field. It's still some time where they forget to tackle, but they are really starting to hit hard, especially in certain games. And this game was the game where they was hitting hard. They was knocking the ball out. Williams finally got his first interception. Like it was just, I'm loving the way the defense is starting to come together under Vic Fangio. And I want to see more of that. I think as the season progresses, we're going to get more tougher. And we probably going to see 10 times better than what we saw when Gannon was coordinator there. So I'm extremely happy.
Why? What are your thoughts, bro?
Yeah, I think one of the best parts about this game was you didn't really feel Nicky Tight Pants' presence at all throughout the game, compared to the rest of the games in the season so far. You didn't really have like those specific plays. You're like, oh, that was definitely Nick, or those certain calls. There was a very clean game as far as like play calling and what they were trying to do offensively. Yeah, Hurts, man, it just has that tendency to hold onto the ball way too long. One specific play, like it seemed like he wanted to run out to the left and then he decided to run back in. And that's when he ended up taking a sack. Whereas like if you would have just continued running to the left, you would have probably got the first down, if not got a couple more yards. But yeah, he just has that tendency to hold on the ball a little too long. Like Diva said, running backwards, like, dude, just throw the ball away or run it if you have to. Like you got to do something. You can't just take the sack every time because that's what kills a lot of these drives. And along with some of the offensive line penalties that we've had throughout this whole season so far, it just seems like there's one or two drives that we really need, more so towards the beginning of the game, that some of these drives are just failing because either we're taking sacks or there's just an offensive penalty at some point, like on the line, someone jumps or something. It just seems like it's a habit at this point. Like they really need to work that out during practice. But they tried to run the ball. It seemed like the Cowboys were really trying to like stack the box there, and they did a good job at stopping Saquon for the most part, like through the first half. He only had like 66 yards, 14 carries, but they still tried to run the ball. It's not like we went away from trying to run the ball. Jalen ended up running like 7 times, he had like 9 carries. Kenny Gainwell had 7 carries. They were still trying to run the ball at a decent clip. They just don't have much success as far as getting huge games or anything like that. It's a positive sign of where we're going as a team going forward. It seems like they're finally found their identity. They're finally leaning into the run game. I still feel like they're trying to force some of these big plays at certain points. Like they're calling certain plays that are just taking a little too long to develop, or they just don't have, or maybe it's just Jalen not taking the under route or some of like these little quick routes. He's waiting for that big play to happen. But I mean, it's fine because it seems like it's working. A lot of the time we are able to make a lot of these big plays throughout this season so far, which we didn't last year. But man, I mean, there's really not much to be said about this defense. They've been playing lockdown for like 5 weeks now at this point since the bye. It's crazy how Vic Fangio has gotten this squad actually like to come together. And even with guys rotating in and out, with the exception of like Avonte Maddox, everybody's been pretty good so far. It's a positive sign as far as like the young guys. I mean, Jalix Hunt, he ended up starting and is part of like the starting rotation now. And we thought he was just kind of going to be sitting throughout the season like a project or something, but he's actually worked his way up there. Bryce Huff, even on limited snaps, ended up doing pretty decent here. Hopefully that's going to be solidifying that rotation throughout the rest of the season as it gets better. We're getting sacks. The defense is getting turnovers. Finally, it's been a long time since we've seen this defense actually getting turnovers each game. So I mean, it's a positive sign. I know it was just the Cowboys. I mean, they're in desperate mode right now. Their season's ending this early. They don't have a QB. I mean, they were switching between Trey Lance and Cooper Rush in this one. It didn't really matter who was in there because I feel like every time Trey Lance was in there, we just expected him to run at some point. That was the only reason he was in there. It was kind of reminded me of like when Jalen first got drafted, when they were trying to use him as like the gadget QB with Carson Wentz. And every time Jalen was in, he was going to be running it at some point. But yeah, I mean, it was a solid game. I wish we would have been able to get out there and score on the first drive or two. But I mean, that's just something they need to work out in practice as far as these 15 scripted plays they start out the game with, trying to get more momentum here. Because especially in like the first 2 drives, they didn't run as much as they did throughout the rest of the game. They were trying to pass it a little bit more, and especially with that sun coming down through those windows. And you saw a lot of the pictures on Twitter and in social media. It looks really cool in pictures, but can't imagine actually playing in there and have to, hit guys wide open with the sun in your eyes or whatever. But it is what it is. I mean, the good guys won either way, though.
Yeah, I think a big thing for me was I saw a lot of people that were at the game in different Eagles groups are in. They were posting pictures like, hey, y'all are complaining about Jalen Hurts holding the ball. Look what he's seeing, right? And I mean, it's not like this has been the only game he's held the ball, but recently he hasn't really held the ball that much. And I do feel like the sun in your face for half the game will make you hold the ball and maybe make some plays that you wouldn't normally make. So I'm gonna chalk it up for that for right now. Now, if we get back to doing this consistently, yeah, we're gonna have to talk about that, right? Because we can't regress to that. We got to kind of stay in the role of get the ball out quick, run the ball, do things. I mean, 2 running touchdowns for Jalen. They use Saquon as a Trojan horse at times. AJ still got 5 receptions for 109 yards. Goddard got the touchdown. AJ Brown got the yards. Definitely always open. I mean, he says that we laugh about it. It's his name on Twitter and on social media and stuff, but he really is always open. And I think the problem is when you have that guy and you are able to get him the ball, you can throw it to him at times where you probably really shouldn't. You feel comfortable doing that with some of the other guys, and it doesn't work out the same way. And I think that's for me. We can say Dallas Goedert probably could have fought for the ball a little bit more, maybe. But I mean, I honestly say Jalen Hurts shouldn't have made that throw. I feel like that's a read decision. Like, yeah, it's a 50-50 ball, but do we really want to make that throw? Right? With Diggs on, do we want to make that throw? And I think that's the one little knock I have. Like at times it feels like Jalen just, and it's not the whole game, but there's some moments where he'll just make one of those bad throws. And if you're throwing it to AJ Brown or you're throwing it to Devontae where he can run up under the ball and still make a play on it, that's one thing. But when you go throwing it to Goddard and the other guys, it's got to be better balls, right? Because they're not the same caliber of receiver. Mm-hmm. And of course, it's Dallas' first game back from the injury, so he's probably not really 100%. But he was instrumental in the game. Not a lot of catches, only 2 for 25, but 2 big ones. We spread the ball out. Like Saquon only had 66 yards running, but think about this: 66 for Saquon. He didn't play in the fourth pretty much.
Yeah.
34 for Shipley, 30 for Gainwell, 56 for Jalen Hurts. So we had over 200 yards on the ground running. When you add it all together, and I think that's what I like. Right? I know if you're a fantasy owner of Saquon, you like, oh man, he needs to get the touchdowns. He needs to have those 100 plus yards games every game. This game didn't dictate for him to be able to play that way. And the reason this game didn't dictate for him to be able to play that way is the Cowboys refused to let him go out there and dominate them like he had been doing other teams. So you had to do a running back or by committee. Then again, not playing in the fourth, that affects your stats as well. Because I mean, honestly, by the time they got the ball in the fourth, they were already like, yeah, y'all ain't going back in there. You know what I'm saying? So then we get Kenny Pickett out there, and then we know there's no stats happening. Kenny Pickett's out there. You know that.
Yeah.
As far as defensively, CJ got his pick. Jalen Carter got a half a sack. Milton Williams got a sack. Brandon Graham got a half a sack. Bryce Huff got a sack. So, several people, got sacks. Not a tremendously large amount of tackles, but again, a lot of the defense was out too. And it's interesting to me how it seems as if Jalen Hurts has kind of surpassed Jeremiah Trotter as who they bring in, right? And we're kind of doing apples and oranges, but kind of not, because one thing I noticed about Vic Fangio, he'll put you on the outside if you're an inside linebacker. He'll put you on the inside if you're outside linebacker if you have the ability to play there. And I've seen him do that at times. And I like that he will be more open to rotating them and not saying, you're the right inside linebacker, that's where you play. You're the left outside linebacker, that's the only place you play. He's been more willing to adapt and put people in different positions, still in their position, but within different roles, right? You might be the outside left linebacker. You might be the inside right linebacker. So he's being more deceptive. So you can't just necessarily go out and expect the same lineup every time. I did say Vic Fangio was a guy that was going to turn things around for the defense. It did take a little time, but he did. Mania Smith got a couple of catches for 6 yards. Nothing big, but he's getting involved in that. Previous games, he had a run. I think they tried to end around with him, but I don't know how they. Well, I don't see it on the stat sheet. But I remember.
Yeah, it didn't really go very far.
Having an end around, but they didn't have it on the stat sheet. I think it was like a yard or something. But he's a little bit of the offense. I think he's another guy that you can kind of expect to have a dual role. You may see him in the slot, so you may see him in the backfield. We never know. He did. Then Johnny Wilson with the 5-yard touchdown grab. First touchdown in his career. So it's great to just see a lot of these guys really do their thing on the offense and defensive sides of the ball. There's been a lot of talk, a lot of fans of the Cowboys, a lot of other people in the division. The Eagles, this, Eagles, that. We had the opportunity. We stepped up. We did what we were supposed to do. We can't control that Dallas is bad. You know what I'm saying? Because when they're good, it's all this and all that. But it is what it is. All right, we got a couple of comments here. E Money in the building. E Money, what up? He says, "Go Birds, go Birds."
Always
Love this. Commanders 17, Eagles 45. Hey, if you right, I'd be
happy with that.
Massively happy. And then Key, Key got sayings and names for everybody more than I do probably. She says, "What can Brown do for you?" 100 yards as long as he don't pull a hamstring in 3 quarters.
Right. I thought something was wrong because he got up real slow after that one catch. I was like, oh Lord, here we go. He's a little knee or hamstring.
Yeah.
Come on, now get up, AJ.
Yeah, I think he just he might have ran a little too hard out there in the hot.
Yeah, because he was breathing real hard, so I think he's just tired.
Oh yeah, they're hard to get to you. Trust me. All right, so guys, any other thoughts on the Cowboys game? Anything else you guys?
No, but I do got to say something. Jordan Davis had a score of 80.9 grade. Since everybody always want to talk about Jordan Davis. No.
Even went and found the man's grade.
Yes. Y'all don't get off my boy now. He just worthless to the team. Y'all can leave my boy alone.
Even went and found my man grade.
Sure did. Gotta let y'all know he is not worthless. He puts a lot into this.
Who don't even talk about stats like that. Go find the man's grade.
Joe did. Shoot, man, Bryce Huff had a 92.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's unbelievable.
Hey, but that's what we brought him there for.
But I'm just happy they were able to set the starters in the 4th, especially on a short week. Going and playing Thursday night and everything. This is exactly what they needed.
Exactly. A big win. Get the guys out, get the backups some reps so everybody can see that was running around talking about Kenny Pickett. You can shut that mess up. That's Kenny Pickett. He looked like Trace out there.
I don't know why Tanner McKee is not second.
The only person that I remember that has looked worse in the Philadelphia Eagles uniform as the backup quarterback was Marcus Mariota last year. That's the only person I can remember looking worse.
Don't forget about Minshew now.
Nate Sudfeld.
Minshew was all right, though. He just played a different system, but he was all right. But as far as looking bad, Kenny Pickett, horrible. Only person worse, Marcus Trashiota. Horrible. In our offense. Now, he looked a little better when playing against the Panthers, but it's the Panthers, so there's that. So, guys, I'm going to take another quick break, come back, and then we're going to go over what the playoffs looking like now after we done got 10 weeks into the season. Let's go.
Everything Boston. I love you morons. New Kids from the Block, New Edition.
Dear whatever the law firm is. Sincerely, the U.S. Supreme Court.
Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. Go yourself again. Jason Whitlock.
Rams fans all around the world.
It's a beautiful thing to be a Rams fan right now. Stafford's back. We will see about Cup. And running back Kerryon Williams to return.
Lend me your ears, or should I say lend Playmaker your ears, as he breaks down week by week everything in the Los Angeles Rams canon.
Number 99, Aaron Donald. Can't wait for 2029 to come to know that you are going in the Hall of Fame, and it should be first ballot, no questions asked.
Join the Playmaker as he breaks down everything Los Angeles Rams style in Ramily Talk on the Playmakers Blog Network YouTube channel and where you can find podcasts. Join the transporter to Hades.
Your butt and gut becomes one.
Join the reformer of hooker whores.
This is my daughter, Placenta Booty Johnson.
Join the bronze god.
Whenever you are in distress, take off your baseball cap and throw it in the air.
Join your very own superhero of broadcasting, Chris Bass.
So whatever color crayon they get, they palm it and do 2 circles, and that translates to, I can beat up black people.
As he takes you through the week's paces in Baseline. Live every Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central, Pacific Time Zone people, just stay asleep when this is on live and just catch the recording. Oh, I'm sorry. Exclusively on the Chris Bass YouTube channel.
All right, y'all, back in the building. So, Key says Saquon made 2 Cowboys run into each other, laugh out loud. He did.
And he drug a few.
He did.
That one stiff arm was mean.
Uncle Rico wasn't that bad. You know, instead of Uncle Rico, you know, I call him White Goodman. So either way works though, right? Either way works. They both are basically him in my mind. So guys, next, we don't even need no graphic. We're gonna talk about it, right? So playoff picture. We're only 10 weeks in, so a lot of these things can change, fluctuate. You know, you could be a better record of a team and still not be in the top 4 if you're not ahead of your division. So a lot of it comes down to your division, right? But basically, just want to kind of give you an idea of where things stand now in regards to the playoffs for the NFC, you know, and for the AFC. So, do we want to start in the NFC or the AFC? Where y'all want to start at?
You start in the AFC.
Okay, we'll start in the AFC. So, we started in the AFC. Let's start from the bottom to the top. Let's build from the bottom to the top because we know who's at the top in the AFC, right? Because, you know, when you got your team and you got the referees, it's a lot of people for people to beat. Can be kind of tricky. But so we've got a couple of different groups here. We've got the teams that are kind of like on the bubble. And we got some of the teams that really almost are out of it. No one's been eliminated yet. But what I'm going to do for right now is we're just going to talk about, I feel we'll go teams who have at least 5 wins, right? If you don't have 5 wins, we're not going to talk about you. So that's only going to give us 7 teams in the AFC and 8 teams in the NFC. So in the AFC, 7 seed, 5-5, the Denver Broncos. Completely shocked about the Broncos. Did not expect them to win 5 games the entirety of the season. I'm not going to lie. But they're getting it done. I give them props for that. They're getting it done. They play Atlanta Falcons week 11. So we'll see if they're still in that picture after that. Because right behind them, 4-win Colts team is breathing down their backs. At 6, We have the 6-3 Chargers. They're second in the AFC West. The Broncos are third. So we have 3 AFC West teams right now in the playoff picture. Chargers are about where I expected them to be. Not a lot of surprises. They've had a bye, so they're a little bit behind some of the teams that haven't had a bye yet. So some of this will be evening out as teams have byes. But, in their division, they're probably going to end up being a wild card because you can't beat the referee team. It's for regular season wins. At number 5, occupying the last wild card position, we have the Baltimore Ravens. They're 7-3. They're second in the AFC North. Their playoff probability is very high because it's a very good team. Again, tiebreakers, different things can put you in the wild card, even when you're better than some of the teams record-wise that may be ahead of divisions. So for the wild card teams, guys, any thoughts on the AFC wild card teams?
No, I mean, that's crazy. The Ravens are a wild card team, but that's because Pittsburgh doing their thing right now. But it's how it is. And you said like the Colts have like 4 wins and they still have the chance to be in there and everything. That's nuts.
Yeah, they're 8th right now.
Crazy.
At 4-6. All right, and then so we'll head to my division guys, division winners, top 4 teams. So in 4th place right now, heading to AFC South at 6-4, less wins than the Ravens. You have the Houston Texans. They play Dallas this week. Not a surprise that they're here. They're the best team in that division. It's not a strong division. The AFC South is kind of like the NFC South was last year, but the Texans would be the exclusion because they're actually pretty decent. But the other 3 teams are not very good. Heading the AFC North is the Pittsburgh Steelers at 7-2. So that's why they're ahead of the Ravens. They have one more. They have one less loss because the Ravens haven't had a bye yet. But they play the Ravens this week. Mm-hmm. So kind of like the Eagles and the Commanders, Ravens go out and win that game. The Ravens are back in first, and the Steelers are in 5th or 6th place.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how tight. The tightest of Nat Bullies is how tight the division is right now. All right, and in 2nd place, got the 8-2 Bills. They're first in the AFC East. Their division struggling a little bit this year too. So they're playing the referee team, the NFL's favorite. I'm just start calling the NFL's favorite, the Kansas City Chiefs this week.
They didn't do cheat treats.
Well, you can call them the Chiefs if you want. Other AFC West teams call them the Queefs. Whatever you prefer. And they're number 1. That's the Kansas City Chiefs. They're playing, of course, the Buffalo Bills. They're 9-0. They're first in the AFC West and first in the AFC due to the fact that, hard to beat the NFL's favorite. So there's that. Now, when we go over to the NFC, things are a little more, not really. There's just one more team that's involved, but things are it's a little bit more open, but not really too much. So you've got the 5-4 49ers. They're second in NFC West. Some injury problems and things early in the season. So right now they're on the outside looking in. If the season ended today. So that's a surprising spot to see the 49ers. But again, injuries have been a big part of it. We don't talk about other teams much on the show, but Brandon Ayuk was very wise to get his money before he showed up because he's had a debilitating injury, but he's already got his bag. So that's why you get your bag before you show up. 7th place. The 49ers play the Seattle Seahawks this week. 7th place, Green Bay Packers. 6-3, third in the AFC North. Remember NFC North, a lot of people talking about the Packers are going to be the best team in the NFC and this and that and blase. It's like, bro, you got to understand what's happening. They do look pretty good, but they've had some tough losses. And Jordan Love missed some games, hurt, come back. He hasn't really found that same flow, it feels like, in multiple games in a row since he's been back.
Mm-hmm.
They're still in the playoffs right now. 6 wins. They play the Chicago Bears this week, so a chance to get another win. Good chance. All right, number 6 place, due to their loss to our PA brothers. Washington Commanders, 7-3, second in the NFC East. They have, just like the Ravens, one more loss than us because we've had a bye and they haven't. That'll be an interesting game. We'll break that down later, so no need to talk about it now. In fifth place, the last wild card right now, second in the NFC North, the Minnesota Vikings. They were undefeated for a while. 2 unfortunate L's. I wouldn't say they've crashed back to earth, but I would say that they are looking a little bit more like the Viking team that I expected to see, and not the one we were seeing the first 5 weeks or so of the season. Not a knock on them. Still firm in the playoff picture, but not as strong looking these last couple of weeks. And they play the Tennessee Titans this week. That's a bunny game. If you lose that game, you deserve to fall down, period. Right. That's all I can say about that. So, guys, any thoughts about NFC wildcard teams as of now?
That's crazy. Got 3 teams from the North in there. Well, in the whole playoffs, because you have the Lions, obviously, at first, but then the Vikings and then the Packers.
Oh, yeah. Most definitely. All right. Top 4. Now, you're talking about surprise. The era freaking stinking Cardinals are 6-4 and first in the NFC West. Man, I thought they'd be down there with 3 wins. Like, I'm not even going to front. Shout out to them. I ain't going to hate on them, but they have more wins than I thought they would. I'm not going to front.
Yeah. They actually did something through the offseason with draft and free agency and everything.
I'm just surprised the Cannon's able to even coach them.
I'm surprised they haven't lost Kyler Murray to the latest FPS game. That's
yeah.
There's
or injury.
Yep. But it's hard to catch a toddler. Y'all, everybody laughing.
Yeah.
Toddler, but it's hard to catch a toddler, and they're on bye this week. The game.
Oh my gosh.
It's hard to catch a toddler. You ever try to catch a running toddler? You'll see what I'm talking about.
We couldn't catch him last year, so hey.
Right. All right, and then third, we got the 6-4 Falcons, first in the NFC South, the only NFC South team in the playoffs. Obviously, with 3 teams from the North, goes without saying, but just want to throw it out there. They're playing the Denver Broncos this week. I look at this game before the season started, bunny win for the Falcons, but maybe not. Maybe not. We'll have to see how it goes. Then at number 2, a team that we know very well, Philadelphia Eagles, 7-2, first in the NFC East, playing them Commanders this week, which we're going to talk about in a few minutes. And above them, number 1, the Detroit Lions. They've only suffered 1 loss this week, first in the NFC North, first in the NFC. They play the Jacksonville Jaguars this week.
Oh, that should be an easy game.
Y'all don't beat the Jacksonville Jaguars, you don't deserve to be first. Period.
I mean, they barely beat the Texans, honey. They got lucky.
I'm just saying, the Texans to me are essentially better than the Jaguars.
Oh, of course.
So, but hey, I wouldn't be mad if Detroit lose. I would not be mad. They losing their 3 games. I wouldn't be mad, but they should win. Mm-hmm. So that is your playoff picture. My distinguished fellow Eagles fans, any thoughts on the division leaders right now in the NFC?
We'll see what happens with the Falcons. How long they gonna stay there? Well, I guess with the rest of the division, they'll probably stay there. But I mean,
well,
nice
Derek Carr is not playing, so we'll see when Derek Carr come back.
He back. He played last 2 weeks.
Yeah, they won last week, I think.
Yeah, they won.
It's all right. Let them Falcons in, because I wouldn't mind meeting them again in the playoffs.
They got to keep New Orleans. New Orleans trying to slide through, even though Carter got everybody concussed on the team with them throws. All right, y'all. So got about 2 commercials we're gonna do real quick. We're gonna come back, and then we're gonna dig into our matchup against the Commanders. But before the break, anything else that you guys want to discuss regarding the Philadelphia Eagles before we take this last break?
I'm good.
Nope.
One thing I want to say. So there's been a lot of talk from I've heard it from Pat McAfee. I've heard it from some of the fans, and the talking heads on TV. They say stuff like, the fan base talks so bad about Nick Sirianni. He's had them in the playoffs every year that he's been there. They've had over 10 wins. And how good would they be without Nick Sirianni? And blah, blah, blah. And last time I checked, the head coach is a big part of you winning games. He's taken them to the Super Bowl. So I just want to say to all those people, fans, talking heads, Pat McAfee, whoever, stop it. Okay?
Right now.
Stop it. Mm-hmm. Because at the end of the day, this team has been good when Nick Sirianni has allowed the other people around him to do their jobs. This is not a product of Nick Sirianni. I won't say 100% it's in spite of him, but a lot of what's happening is because of the talent that's been there, the coordinators that we had at one point, and even last year. For a good amount of the season before you fired him, Sean Desai had his team playing pretty well on the defensive side of the ball. So to say that maybe Nick Sirianni deserves more credit than he gets, it's blasphemous. That tells me you're not going and watching all those games, and that's okay, because I don't expect you, if you're not a fan of the Eagles, to watch all the games. I watch every game twice. So I want you to know, I watch those games and I say, boy, if Nick didn't do that, man, we could have beat that team by this. If Nick would have just kicked that field goal, we could have did this. You notice this game, we ain't do none of that foolishness on fourth downs. What we do on fourth down? We kick field goals, right? We ain't do nothing foolish, nothing really crazy out the way. It was a couple of plays, but for the most part, it felt like a Kellen Moore called game. Mm-hmm. That's what we need to be successful. We can win and it not be in spite of Nick if Nick allows the coordinators to do their jobs. The Philadelphia Eagles are successful when Nicholas Sirianni allows his players and his coaches to do what they do, and he's just the rah-rah head coach, and he's just the GM, lets everybody else, lets the assistants do their job. When he tries to be the hands-on offensive play caller, that's when we're bad. But see, I don't want to talk about that because that destroys your narrative that Nick Sirianni is a big part of why we've had success. Like I said, I'm going to sit here and say he's not no part of it, but his play calling is definitely not a reason that we've had success. And I don't ever hear you guys talk about that. So when you're talking about him, talking about the record and stuff, also talk about how terrible his play calling is and how many times he's almost cost us with the bad play calling. Give us the full story. But y'all don't want to do that because it doesn't fit the narrative that Nick is not a problem. Nick is a problem at times, not all the time, but at times he's a problem. And we all know that. And if you're a fan of the Philadelphia Eagles and you're trying to act like that's not true, I would love for you to come on this show and let's talk about it.
Well, I know Fletcher Cox had a lot of good things to say about him, but I'm like, dude, you basically retired because basically you knew your head coach wasn't nothing.
That's fine. Yeah. You can like Nick Sirianni as a person. I don't know Nick Sirianni as a person, but as a head football coach, I want him to do what a head football coach is supposed to do and just run the team from the top. I want you to just allow the other people to do their jobs. That's when we're the best, since you've been the head coach. Mm-hmm. You know, you can love him off the field. You can talk to him on the bench. He can be your hype guy, rub your back, bring you a Frosty or a cooler or whatever you like. That's fine. But when he starts calling plays, that's when things get bad for the Philadelphia Eagles. That's what I'm trying to get everybody to understand.
Yeah, the best thing Nick can do is let the coaches do their jobs.
Absolutely. Be the hype man, wear your t-shirts and tight pants.
Right, and hype the locker room up.
I think he's good for the culture in the locker room, but as far as game planning and stuff, let everybody else do that.
Yeah, and that's where I want people to understand. That's where a lot of our problems are with Nick. Some people may have other problems, but a lot of our problems with him as a play caller, not as a head coach. But he needs to take that piece away from himself and understand for the betterment of the team, give that to Kellen Moore.
Yeah.
That's where
if he was able to do that consistently on a year-to-year basis, we wouldn't have any problems.
How long we got, bro? If he do that, let the coordinators do their thing, we should be a Super Bowl contender for the next 3-4 years, easily at least.
Yeah.
That's why I hope he don't mess up this game, because I feel like maybe he let Kellen Moore call that game because, you know, Dallas is his old team. He played for him and he coached for him. But we'll see if he intervened this week, because it was like that when we played the Giants. He didn't really intervene. He let Kellen Moore kind of run Saquon around, and then next game he come meddling in the game, of course, and
everybody will know who it is too, especially in a big game like this in prime time against the division rival. All the blame will be on Nick.
And
we're gonna have to bring all of his kids to the press conference after that one.
And our cameraman, they be letting when Nick be calling plays. They'll go right over to Nick like, "Yep, this is all the play."
So we don't know. Dumb face he makes on the sideline.
Yep.
So y'all see it? We're about to come back and talk about it. But before we do that, last commercial break. Let's go.
Poppy J.
You got the option to cry for the government. You got the option to protest. You got the option to keep buying. But this is also an option.
Wise El Jefe.
We're the first tech geeks. We're the first gamers. We're the first everything. Everything. Like Gen X's, we are the ones.
BS3 Network proudly presents the crew from the New York boroughs who never wants that smoke. Nah, they want that fire. Poppy J and Wise El Jefe. Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure. Whether it's the men's college game,
the way that this season has been going, yeah, anything is possible.
The women's college game,
and how passionate Angel Reese was at that press conference, they got their mojo now.
The WNBA,
AJ Wilson on Twitter 1 and 2, followed by Brittany Griner, Aaliyah Boston, Jackie Young,
or the NBA.
The Lakers had a 0.8 chance of winning. And then what happened in the fourth quarter? LeBron James by himself outdid the Clippers.
You will get any and all of the information right at your fingertips or your earlobes. Join the Playmaker as he breaks down all things basketball in Shooting Lights Out on the Playmakers blog, network, YouTube channel, and where you can find podcasts. Cool McCain.
You thought you wanted Gunther against Chad Gable, but you didn't. And I'm going to tell you why. Chad Gable would take everything that Gunther's done and bury it.
The Playmaker.
It was on site. AJ Styles walked out there seeing LA like, oh, okay, then LA Knight hopped out the car, let's go.
Break down everything in TNA, AEW, and all of the WWE programming. Join these two kings, monarchs of wrestling, live every Monday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Central on the Play Caller Sports Talk YouTube channel.
All right, y'all. So we back. Y'all know what it is. Shout out to 502 Angel Radio once more. Y'all know what time it is. Preview time. We got Washington Commanders coming to Lincoln Financial Field tomorrow night, not Sunday, not Monday, not even Friday, tomorrow night. So let's talk about it. First question. Defensively, what do we do to contain the run game that they're going to hit us with? Because they're going to run with Brian Robinson. They're going to run and pass with Austin Eckler. Jaden Daniels is going to run that ball. What do we do to stop that run and that pass game that the Commanders are going to throw at us tomorrow night? Whoever want to go.
Yeah, I mean, you got to make sure you got the big guys in the middle there. Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter. Might have to have a spy, possibly, as like either Zach Bond or Nakobe Dean, whoever's up to the task. Possibly, follow, Jaden around, or depending on whoever's in the backfield there. It's going to be interesting to see how they handle it. I just feel like the line's going to have to figure that out as it's happening, pulling either which way. And also the secondary is going to have to be there as well. We're not going to be able to have that soft, that cushion that they go with sometimes, like the 10 yards, or up around the sticks or past the sticks. Might have to have the guys playing down a little bit to, be prepared for that and make sure we are tackling, make sure we are wrapping dudes up here like we have been the past couple weeks. They've been tackling pretty well. But I trust Vic Fangio. It seems like he's had an eye for what's going on with these teams and what they're expecting out of them. And I forget which team it was. It wasn't Dallas. Maybe it was Cleveland. It was one of these teams we played recently. They said that we were throwing out different things they've never seen or they weren't expecting from our defense. So hopefully Vic Fangio is preparing something we maybe haven't done previously this season that's not on tape that Washington is expecting here. Because it seems like, dude's been in the league so long now. So I feel like he's going to have some idea of what to do, especially with all the tape that Washington has as of right now. Because it seems like we've been coming in each game pretty prepared as far as defense goes, with the exception of those first couple games of the season here when it was rocky. We didn't have Cooper DeJean or anything like that. But I fully expect the defense to go out here. I'm not saying they're going to have like a shutout game or anything like we have been the past couple weeks, but maybe not let them score more than 14 points or something would be nice.
Mm-hmm. I think it just comes down to making sure you putting pressure on Jaden Daniels, and making sure if they are running the ball that they're getting short yardage or not getting big chunks of yardage running the ball. You also got to watch out. Zach Ertz will be back. He can catch the ball. You got to watch out for T. McLaurin. So, like Wyatt said, not give a 10-yard cushion. Like, you need to be up on your players. And if you need to give help over the top and underneath, like we saw that one play where CJGJ and Rodgers came over, CJGJ gave help underneath. Do that, making sure that your receivers, your cornerbacks and safeties are giving help over the top and underneath if need be. Just make sure you stay on your man. Don't lose sight of your man. When that mug takes off and go down the field, make sure you are locked in and locked down on where he's going to go. Make sure you ain't getting burnt. So you just got to be aware of your man. If they get to the red zone, our red zone defense is getting better. We're starting to stuff guys. So if they do get to the red zone, make sure you're stopping them so they're not getting into the end zone, that they're having to kick field goals. But I think that's why I like seeing Vic at the top, because he can see a lot and he know how to switch things up. If he sees something that's not going right or we're not playing coverage right, he could call something that he know the coverage will be better because he can see better up top than he can on the field. And so I like him being up there, being able to see what's going on. And as you see, he's able to make adjustments and the guys are adjusting really well. I just want to see some big hits. I want to see you wrapping up your man, tackling, making stops, getting pressure on the quarterback, on the running back. So yeah, if we play like we have the past few weeks, I really don't see them having a high scoring game. Of course they're going to score, but I don't see them having a high scoring game. And I feel like Vic, besides watching film, is really going to be locked in to see if they try something different on the offense. That way he can counteract it with the defense. Oh, don't put play out there. Don't do it.
I always say, with young quarterbacks, you want to give them looks they haven't seen before. You want to, you can go on film and see what we've done the first 10 weeks. Because we are playing this rookie quarterback, first time he's seeing his defense, give him things out of different looks. Make it look like a run play. Make it like we're, run protect and be pass protection. Make it look like we're not going to blitz and blitz. Make it like we're going to blitz from the right, blitz from the left. Just do those things to try to throw them off, get them off kilter. Kind of treat them like the Bears did. The Bears game is a great example of a game where they didn't allow him to do a lot of the things that he wanted to do, but he was able to make that big Hail Mary at the end to get the win. Look at the Steelers game, right? There are ways that you can approach him. I think Minnesota kind of gave a bit of the blueprint of how you can play him a little bit. Well, not Minnesota, excuse me. I'm thinking about a different quarterback. But throughout the season, you kind of get 3, 4, 5 games in, you start to get the blueprint, right? Chicago did a great job of that. Some teams before that did as well. Baltimore is another team that did pretty good at getting the blueprint. They didn't have the defensive players to necessarily run the play the way that they wanted against him, but you could kind of get the blueprint from that. The thing is, young quarterbacks, you want to make them think something's there is not there. You want to trick them into thinking they can make a throw but then you take the throw away because you have a guy that's already ready to jump it. Reed Blankenship has been good at that for us over the past couple of years, just kind of making you think he's going to go out on a route, but he's really going to sit, and then he kind of jumps in and gets a pass breakup or interception. CJ kind of looks like you said, getting back into who we expect when we see him. So a couple of guys, that can do that on a consistent basis. Got a ball hawk, got to wrap up, got to tackle, got to hit. We need gang tackle. We don't need to let one person, right? We've got to wear down their run game, and we've got to get them to the point where we're taking some of that run away. I think spying Jaden Daniels at times makes sense, but I think also he's a guy that has learned throughout his college career and so far here in the NFL, play action. They use play action a little bit more than we do. So you don't want to get a guy like Scary Terry that opportunity. So you still want to kind of stay with everybody. You just got to make sure that you're closing gaps. Everybody's hitting their gaps, and that they're containing. Not going anything wild, not going around, not getting losing your gap integrity on defense. So those are the things I think that we need to do against Jaden Daniels. We're not going to completely shut him down, but for him in that running game, because he is a piece of that running game, just like Hurts is a piece of our running game. So you have to account for him as well in the running game. When you wrap him up, you've got to wrap him up and bring him down. You can't wrap him up and do one of those lazy tackles because he will break it and go for 20 yards, just like Hurts will. You practice against a guy with a similar running style and running game. So you should be prepared, but it's a lot easier in practice than on the field. So we'll see how things go, but I think that's what we need to do defensively. So I'm going to ask this question, but I'm going to ask in a little bit of a different way. If you're the Commanders' defense and you're looking at the Eagles' offense, what are you concerned about, and where do you think the Eagles would have an advantage on you if you were the Commanders?
Man, there's multiple ways the Eagles could have advantage. I mean, you got AJ Brown, so you got to worry about that. I mean, it's really hard to contain AJ Brown. I mean, he's able to be locked down, but it's hard to really lock him out. You got Saquon, who is a beast. Once he lean that head, he out. You know what I'm saying? You got to worry about Jalen because you don't know what Jalen gonna do. Whether he gonna throw the ball, if he gonna bomb it down the field, if he gonna take off and run. So you probably have to watch. You're gonna have to watch Jalen for sure. I mean, but we got multiple targets that they really gonna have to try to spread their defense out and try to contain. And to me, I think that's gonna tire them out. I mean, we got Jahan. I mean, just be Jahan Dotson's first game back against his old team. You got hopefully Wilson to get in there. You got Smitty. You got Goddard. I mean, so you got Gainwell when he want to Gainwell. So I mean, there's a lot of targets for us to really have to try to figure out. And now that Jalen's not just continuously going to a certain target, you don't know who he's gonna throw to. You don't know which way he's gonna go. So it's a lot to try to worry about with us. I'm gonna be honest. I'd be worried because that's a lot of people you gotta try to contain and keep your eye out on.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think the two people you got to worry about the most if you're the Commanders are A.J. Brown and Saquon Barkley. I mean, last year, A.J. had their CBs out here crying on the sidelines with what he was doing. So, I mean, he could easily go out there and do it again if we really wanted to. But even if they did, try to double team him or, try to shut him down, like Diva said, you have so many other options you can go to. Jahan Dotson has been heating up over these past 2 weeks. It's going to be one of these games where he's actually going to go off and have a huge game or have a huge bomb pass, like Hail Mary pass or something from Hurts. It seems like he's been doing that with a lot of these guys over these past couple of weeks. And nobody's talking how good Hurts is with the deep ball. He's got like the best deep ball in the game right now. Like it's crazy. And nobody's like really talking about that, like on a week to week basis. But yeah, I mean, I would be worried if I was Washington because like Diva was saying, there's so many options and the way that he's spreading the ball around right now. It's, you cover one guy, you have 3 other ones that are probably going to be open somewhere. It doesn't matter. So, I mean, they're going to have a lot on their plate this game, especially with Lattimore. Like they just traded for him and he hasn't played last week. He's not going to be playing this week. They already ruled him out. So they're not going to have help there in the secondary. So I think they're going to have a long night. Hopefully the offense that we have is going to be clicking though, because we're going to have to put up points on the board depending on what their offense is doing here.
All right. If I'm the Commanders, I'm worried about the run game the most, right? Because if they can run the ball, being the Eagles, if we can run the ball on them, then that's going to open up possibility of play action. That's going to open us up to having to put more people on the line, which is going to allow those dynamic plays for AJ, Devontae. You got to worry about Johnny Wilson when you're close. Big plays. He's catching the ball. He's looking more confident now. Gollard's back. Calcaterra's there. Anaya Smith is back. He's a guy that should be more, making some plays in the passing game when he gets opportunities and maybe the run game. We should at least be using sometimes Gaineswell as well as Saquon Barkley. Hurts is going to run the ball. So there's so many guys on this team and so many different weapons. I think you don't want the run to get going, because if the run gets going first, and then you have to try to stop that and still use your integrity for the wide receivers. And let's be honest, the Commanders don't have the best secondary, right? This is the same secondary. They went and made a big trade, but the guy isn't even playing. So you've got the same secondary you've had all year, the guys who you know you need to get better, so you went out and made a trade, but you still got to play the other guys. St. Juice has been good at times, but he's been beat badly at times as well. And I just think that what Philly should be able to do is take what's given, right? You have to give them what you think you can cover the best. If I'm the Commanders, I don't really know what that is. But you got to try to take something away. Maybe you feel more comfortable taking the run away and not letting Saquon get off and just taking your chances with the passes, right? Maybe you feel like we want to try to take the passes away and we'll stack the line for the run and try to cover the receivers one-on-one or in zone. Good luck with trying that. But, I mean, that's got to be one of those two strategies that got to be what the Commanders are trying to do defensively to try to stop the Eagles. I don't think they're going to be very successful at what they're trying to do. At least I don't hope. I hope they're not going to be. But at the same time, they're going to have to try something. They're not just going to go out there and lay down for us. They're going to try. And I think if we're able to execute everything that we're supposed to do, the Eagles have a great chance to win this game. If we're not able to come out and do execution, if we turn the ball over, we have a lot of 3-and-outs, we get a lot of sacks, we get a lot of times where we're not putting points on the board, and we lose the time of possession battle, that's going to be bad for us. I think time of possession is key. Whoever can have the cleanest game with turnovers is going to be the keys to winning the game.
I just don't
I kind of put two things together. So if y'all want to go back and add anything or talk about your keys to the game, feel free.
I just don't need Jalen to hold that ball. You know what I'm saying? Like, if nobody's open, throw the ball away, but please don't be holding on to that ball and running backwards in the pocket, because you always get tackled. Like, you got to make serious, smart plays. You got to make sure you are protecting the ball, especially when you're trying to roll out the pocket and you just got the ball all loose. Like, bruh, you got to protect that ball. But 1, 2, 3, if nobody's open, you feel like you can't run, which lately he has been running, just throw the ball away. Just don't hold it no longer than that 3rd second, because they're going to come after you, and they know that you're good for holding the ball long. So I feel like as long as Jalen can get that ball out or either run or throw it away, I think we'll be good. We don't need any sacks for losses of 3, 4, 5, 6, sometimes 10 yards because he's holding the ball too long and he's trying to wait for somebody to get open.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think the Commanders, like, their D-line's not that great. So I feel like with a full healthy line that we have, Jordan Mailata coming back, we should be able to run all over this team, especially, Saquon either going out around the side or going straight up the middle. I feel like that would definitely help us control that time of possession that we've been doing through these past 4 or 5 weeks here. That's what we've been doing well, is when we do have the ball and they're rolling, they're able to control the time of possession pretty greatly. Like over these past 4 or 5 teams we played. I know they're not on the level of the Commanders as far as what they've been able to do in these games, but I think with our play style and what we've been doing, it goes well against what they're doing as far as the Commanders. I feel like they may have a tough time going against our defense or just our offense in general. I just think we have the more caliber players and the more talent as far as that's concerned. So I mean, I'm not as worried about this game as a lot of people are, but I can see how it could be a problem with Jaden Daniels running around because we haven't really faced a QB like that this season so far as mobility or able to, get out of the pocket and move around.
As long as Nick ain't calling nothing stupid or calling nothing at all, we'll be all right.
Yeah, true. Stay out of the game, Nick.
Yeah.
Just coach and cheer, pump your fists, and run your mouth.
That's it.
Yeah. That'd be best for us. Philly's in the building. Fly, Eagle, fly. For a while, I was like, is Philly not showing up for the squad today? What's going on? But there she goes. You know what I'm saying? You see Philly in the comments at least once. So, we've completed, everything we got to talk about. But there's a few things that we have to say before we are over. There's a few things. When it comes to Nick Sirianni calling plays, this is how I feel.
Cannot play with him. Cannot win with him. Cannot coach with him. Can't do it.
That's how I feel. When it comes to
hey, you about to spit my water out, man.
Can't do it.
Saquon Barkley, this is what you need to tell the entirety of the league.
Acknowledge me.
And I've been saying for weeks, we've been saying for weeks, maybe not in these words specifically. This is what we've been telling y'all.
But the cream will rise to the top. Oh, yeah.
It has.
Oh, and by the way, Philadelphia Eagles, as of today, #1 in the division.
The kid, you dig that sucker?
Hopefully we'll be 2 games up. Hopefully we'll be 8-2 and undefeated in the division because we didn't beat all our division opponents round 1. Wait on round 2 to come back.
It'd be sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and if you ask Mike McCarthy about the playoffs, this is what he gonna say.
What's that? Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
Yo.
Oh man.
And last but not
Yeah,
least,
huh? What's that? Yeah, that's it for real.
and last but not least, your petty man is not forgot. Washington Commanders, Washington football team, Washington Redskins, Washington, whatever you want to be this week.
And we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Fun times.
Link.
We'll see how it works out. You know what I hope is happening. We'll see how it works out because at the end of the day, we do got to play the game because that's why you play the game.
Right? It's gonna feel like a playoff game.
Oh, definitely.
I can't wait.
Man, we actually own primetime, y'all. They didn't flex us off for once.
No.
I knew the ratings gonna come in on this one.
Trash.
Yeah, you got 2 black running quarterbacks. Yeah. Jalen Daniels want to be a Jalen Hurts.
I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna let that be. I almost let something say. We'll see you back next week. Holla at your folk.